Get up in there. No, I don't want to stop recording. I want to record.
Yeah, I have 8:22 and we're back in, session once again. Uh,
It should be.
What? Missing one. We'll be back, excuse me, we'll be back in session when we get another councilman back. Oh, he doesn't have the key to, is he back there? He doesn't have the key to the door. I haven't locked out.
Did y'all lock him in the room where y'all were meeting?
Might have,
Who's back there?
David.
8:20?
Now it's 8:23 and we're back in session. Okay. A, discuss and take action on police chief. What is the wishes of the body?
I'll make a motion to approve Brian Poole 5 years after his additional contract.
I'll second that.
And I do believe that will be 8 years.
Tuck, that was you.
I seconded.
Have a motion second. Are there any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. At this time, we're not gonna take any action on number B under that. City Administrative Monthly Reports, City Council to hear and act if necessary on any of the following items. And the first one is the City Manager's Report.
I'll give you all a copy. We've got a TCEQ, Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. We did receive a fine for $66,875. That goes back to June of 21. That was a month before I started. That was for an 8-inch sewer line that was opened up. It had broke somehow, and then, anyway, it was just illegally discharging into a creek, and left for quite some time. And anyway, so TCEQ come in, and I mean, there were some people called in on it, which they should have. We've had the same thing happen since I've been here. I'm sure we'll get a fine at some point in time, but it won't be a whole lot because we reported it first off, which they didn't report this one. And we had 2 major ones, and we reported them, and we made bypasses from manhole to manhole to not let that go into the creek illegally like that, and actually stay inside of our sewer system. So, but that's just, and we probably spent, on one leak out on 135, we probably spent around 30,000 taking care of that, but that's better than 66,000 something. But and we stayed in compliance with our state, so that's just
That was also, with the wastewater treatment plant before you took it over too, the way it was
Right.
overgrown, and some of that was on the fine too, so.
yes.
There's something else to read that,
But
that thing report.
just some things happening. There's some other things. We've been Lisa's been going through and Sharon working on getting our files and trying to get ready for audits on the city part of it, and also on the OMDD and OEDC. You've got to get these. You've got to get all these receipts. So we had boxes, and I'm talking about boxes. And I'm not talking about with 2016 all in one box. or 2018 all in one box. I'm talking about stuff just throwed all in these boxes, throwed in these boxes. We even found 2 car towels, that I didn't know. I knew the city owned them, but I had no idea where they was at. Didn't know, thought maybe we still own them. Couldn't figure nothing out, you know? But, all those papers now, except for OMDD and OEDC, and that's getting pretty close, are all now in files where it's categorized. And we can go in there and start entering that into our GL codes. And for our auditor to be able to come in and start doing what he needs to do. Another task that we're faced with is that, the past administration changed computer software 4 times. That was in just a few short years. That cost the city a lot of money. The last time they changed it was with a software called Encode 10, and that was just a little over $100,000 to make that change. And then it's roughly $30,000 a year to keep that software. Well, could we get rid of that and spend less money? Of course. But we're liable to spend more money because we're liable to mess up how far we've come as far as getting closer to doing our audits. So you can't just stop everything. You gotta be careful on what you do. That's gonna take time. It took a long time to get in this shape, and it's gonna take a long time to get out of this shape. It's not gonna happen next year or in 3 or 4 years. We're gonna be 7, 8 years down the road trying to get through all this mess. And, if I feel like we're being told wrong by an auditor or somebody else, well, then we'll start looking in a different direction. So that's where we're at on that. We're just trying to get to where we can kind of just keep going forward. We've come a long ways. The office that I'm in there was still is complete wreck. I didn't want to move a lot of that stuff because I didn't know what was what. Now all the boxes are out there. There's still quite a few papers that we're just trying to figure out what's what. But we had 2 more offices that was full of paperwork like that in boxes just thrown. I mean, it would fill up it would fill up a whole office, you know, in this building with all that was here. So we've come a long ways in a year and a half, but there's still a long ways to go. And it's gonna be very costly to get there, but that's what happens when you turn something loose and let it run and don't check on it, you know? Just part of it. But, that was 2 of the main things I wanted to kind of touch on. I believe that's all I have for right now.
Okay. Police Department report, you have that on pages, 36 to 41, and you have your racial profiling yearly report on pages 20 to 35. If you have any questions, you can ask, our chief. Racial profiling is very interesting to go through, and it's,
That and then the survey that you, because there's 2
Right.
reports there, so just
Mhm.
understand when you look at them, you're looking at 2 reports.
yeah. Do you have anything to add?
No, sir,
Brian?
I don't think so. I think I covered everything.
Okay. Do you have any questions on any of these? Rush, if not, we'll go to, Christus EMS, that's, pages 18 to 19. Few long runs in there, not as many as has been in the past, as I was looking it over. It's a 26-minute, 22. Alexis is not here tonight, so you can't ask questions anyway.
He messaged me earlier, this morning and said he wasn't gonna be here.
Okay,
Somebody's birthday and one was having, other was having a procedure of some sort.
there you go. If no questions on this, Overton Volunteer Fire Department. Mickey, you wanna give us a report? He did furnish you with a sheet, this week. I encourage him to, make sure we have one,
Y'all can look at them and you want me to call off.
whatever you wanna do, sir.
In the city, we have one wreck, we have one grass fire, 2 false alarms, 3 other calls, and that could be most of those fire lines. And 5 first responders. Smith County, we have 1 structure fire, which we was 1022 though. Section 4 burning permit. In Russ County SD, we have 3 violent fires with the big grass, 1 wreck. One of them is-
So we had a total inside the city limits, 12, and we had a total outside the city limits, which was out the county for ESD,
Right.
4.
No, we had 1 for it at the county. This report is going to, we got to do some change on this Russ County report.
Okay.
You have 3 grass fires, one wreck, 3 first responder calls. No, 1 vehicle fire, one wreck.
So-
And 3 false alarms. This report does not have the total.
So you had 11 total for ESD. So 12 for the city of Overton and 11 for the county.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out a better deal on this, because our reports don't specifically say power lines, it's just.
Okay.
There are power lines. Also, we got we got 1 new person on the fire department, and she is a registered RN. So I told her to have all the medical calls she wanted.
Good,
I'll drive you, you do the rest.
okay.
I did bring 1 young man back, he's 18 years old, he was on the previous department, and, he was kinda done dirty. And so, I'm gonna give him another shot.
Okay,
All the trucks, I still got a few things that gotta be repaired on some of the trucks, nothing real major. So, we're getting there. Slowly but surely we're getting there.
and I know that, they're wanting to make some improvements to the building down there, and the building is cities anyway, so we need to, I think they're gonna, do LSD lights, throughout, right?
LED lights on the.
Well, maybe I ought to say that.
Yeah, yes, my.
The news people left you said.
We're gonna change everything over, all except for the outside lights right now, the LED, and include all the lights in the truck bays, all the lights inside the building. The previous fund got a bid for $5,000. So we have 2 electricians on the fire department, certified electricians, one that works for the Texas Highway Department, let me call it electric. I can get every bulb for inside this station for $921. He said, we can do the work ourselves.
What
They're gonna do,
we found a leak behind the fire department there, but we thought we found it, but you said it's been there for how long?
Long time.
And so we'll be getting that fixed hopefully tomorrow. We finally got the part in today.
They want to look drip behind the fire station. Inside the station where we fill the truck is. We're getting it there, just take a little time.
okay, thanks, sir.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Court, we'll have with us, the OMD minutes there, I believe, presented to you. If you wanna look over those just to see what they have been, covering, that's all I'll give those far as to get, so the council will know what the different, other bodies, committees are dealing with, and the OEDC will be meeting next Tuesday, right?
No, they canceled that meeting.
Mayor finds out last of all.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I'm just glad it was you this time, though.
There you go. Okay, So we're not having a meeting next time. Okay.
I call that.
Financial report? Y'all have that before you at this time,
You wanna read it?
ma'am?
I said, do you want to read it or do you want me to give it to you?
Sure, they can read it.
They read it already, probably should have.
Probably.
That's on pages, 42 to 54.
The only thing that I could state is that on January the first, we were down to $604,736, which is the lowest that we've been since I've been here, in the push to clear all of the outstanding debts that we gather up before the end of the year. So that brought the total quite down, but as you see, we're back up to $888,535 now. We do have one large loan note to pay this month, it'll come out on Saturday, I believe, for $39,000 for one of those bonds that they refurnished, we call it.
Was that a bond or
Over
actually?
there.
Refinanced.
Place over there.
Yeah, one of the refinanced ones with a $7,000 interest payment with it, and then we won't have any more large payments like that, I think, until June. But we have the money to cover it.
Okay. Y'all have any questions on any of it?
We don't need to get along?
No,
Oh,
no, no,
no. Not until we pay that fine anyway, so.
yeah.
Any other questions or anything? Anyone got another motion to make?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I guess I do need to ask for future meetings, but I hope you're all gonna be here and anybody got a
When
problem
is-
with the future meeting?
When is the next one?
I don't know.
The next
Third
regular
Thursday of the
meeting,
month.
it would be March the 16th.
I think
Oh,
so.
okay.
Yes. Have we adjourned?
You adjourn?
Motion second to adjourn, all in favor, raise your hand.